Hey guys, what's up? This is Tony from alphapursuits.com. In this video, we are going to talk about position sizing as a part of risk management discussion for options trading. Stay tuned. Now, before we start, I want to point out this video is for informational purpose only. I'm not giving any financial advice. So please do your own due diligence before you take any action or open any trades. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the challenges that I faced when it comes to position sizing. Then we will talk about how I implement position sizing for the wheel strategy, and finish up by jumping over to Thinkorswim platform to show you some examples. So what is the right position size? I think people typically say 3 to 5% of the entire account, and I do agree with that. I personally set it to about 3% by default, and depending on how confident I am, I may scale it up to 5, 7, or even 10%. And of course, on the other scale of the spectrum, if I am testing something out or if I'm not very confident, then I will scale it down to 1.5 or even 1%, depending on what I'm doing really. So that is the kind of size that I personally trade with, and obviously there is no definite answer when it comes to how small, how big position sizing should be. But again, generally speaking, what I've seen is about 3 to 5%. And the challenges, the first one that I had was I could not find enough opportunities, and that made me feel implementing position sizing was not the right thing. In other words, I feel I'm not putting enough money in the opportunities that I found. Once I realized that the actual root problem was because I could not find enough opportunities. So I work on the process to be able to find more opportunities. It allows me to apply position sizing properly. The second problem I had was account size was too small. So when I started out, my account size was really small, and I ended up trading penny stocks. And as you can imagine, with penny stocks, there aren't that many strategies or trading styles that you can do. And so what I realized was that, if you only have a limited amount of limited amount of money, then you are only really limiting yourself to certain trading style or certain strategies only. So it would be a better idea to actually save up a little bit more so that you can open more doors to different trading styles. And this is sort of related to that with regards to set expectations. So when we just starting out, we had this expectation of, I will be able to double my money in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks. And that's really what happens on some of those people who are pitching and selling their ways of trading, their strategy and things like that. And when you have such a small account, obviously, you would put the entire, 300, 500, 1,000, whatever, into one position and thinking, okay, I'm going to double that. Now, if you lose it all, that's it, game over. You would have to start all over again. And so, setting the right expectation really should be done as well, because if your expectation is doubling your money in a week, obviously you're taking a lot of risk with that. And so again, you probably want to test out, learn a different trading style rather than just say, okay, I'm just going to trade right away with what I have. Let's go. That's what I meant by setting expectation accordingly. Now, the third one is can't make enough money. So this is kind of related to the right strategy, the right trading method. And the kind of trading strategy, some strategies actually don't win a lot. In a sense, the win rate is very low. For example, trend following strategy, you probably would lose 70% of the time because you're trying to follow a trend, and if that trend doesn't happen, you have to get out as soon as you can. And with that, you probably have to, really position size and have to lose a lot until when you get into a trend, and then you will just keep adding to it as the stock price trending up. And as you can imagine, personally, I don't feel that's the right strategy for me because I don't like losing 70% of the time. So when I trying to do that, I would think, okay, the next one will be big, the next one will be big, and I would put larger amount of money compared to the proper position sizing into each trade. So obviously, I was not doing the right trading method. And so by exploring different trading method that matches your personality, that matches to the right way of making money, so to speak, then you will be able to implement position sizing. And instead of complaining, well, I'm not making enough money if I only put, few percent of my account. Now let's move on to how I implement position sizing to the wheel strategy. So really, position sizing is to minimize the risk. And so to minimize the risk, on top of just allocating 3 to 5% of the account per trade, I also look for different types of opportunities. For example, high IV events. So some companies, they may have earning coming up. They may have some kind of drug testing going on, phase 3 readout coming up, or new product release. So things like that could lead to increase in implied volatility of the options. And so I have a screening method for that. Then I have a screening method that looks at different industry sectors, or I purposely, pick different industry. And seasonality is also another way to diversify. For example, during the shopping season, retailers, their stock tend to trend higher, especially towards to the end of the year. So with that in mind, I can open positions accordingly with that data, or with that ways of thinking in mind. Then increase or decrease allocation, which I mentioned earlier, depending on how confident I am with the trade idea, I can increase it or decrease it. And further diversify based on strike and expiration. So even with the same underline, once I've done the fundamental analysis and technical analysis, I would pick 2 or 3 different strike points to enter. And if it's worthwhile, I will also pick different expiration so that I can further diversify the risk. And based on doing all this, I'm actually able to get about 5 to 10% return per month with a margin account. So wheel strategy really, it matches my personality, and I really like it. So in case if you are interested in finding out more about wheel strategy, I will include a link in the video description section. So you will be able to take a look at alphapursuits.com. There are a couple of articles that I wrote about, wheel strategy and why I like it, things like that. So please check those out. Now let's jump on to Thinkorswim platform to take a look at some examples. So right off the bat, as you can see, I have more than 100 walk-in orders. As I mentioned earlier in the video, once I realized I had problem finding opportunities, I really worked on it. So now I have different processes in place that allows me to find more opportunities. And I have a margin account, but I actually trade it like a cash secured account. So let me explain what I mean by that. So for example, AAL, American Airline, what I'm trying to do here is to sell 3 put contracts at $13 strike, which means it would cost $3,900 for a cash secured account to open this position. But because I have a margin account, that requirement is much lower than $3,900. But just because I'm able to open more contracts, that does not mean I want to. Because imagine if for whatever reason AAL goes bankrupt and I ended up losing this position, which will get translated into $3,900. So that will be the maximum risk I'm risking here. And that's the way I like to think, rather than thinking, oh, it only cost me XYZ buying power, and I have this much buying power with the margin account, so I can actually open 10 times of this contract. So let's imagine if I open 10 times of this particular position, then that will get translated into $39,000. And imagine if something goes substantially wrong, that is really a huge chunk of my account, which obviously I do not want to risk that much. And you can see the same kind of trends here. So ABUS, same thing, $2.5 strike, only 10 contracts. So is $2,500. And then AKBA, so this is one of the ways that I mentioned earlier, that by entering into different, by opening the position with different strike point, it also minimizes the risk and allows me to gain a different pricing point and minimize the risk. And I also do the same, like I said earlier, with the expiration, even though on the screen here you cannot really see them here, but I do try to look for enough premium, if there's enough premium. Actually, I should say that if it's worthwhile for me to open in different expiration with the same underline, I do that as well. So in case you're interested in my open positions and my watch list, it is actually available now at my website, alphapursuits.com, as one of the services. And once you sign up, you will be able to see what kind of stocks that I trade for whales, what kind of stocks I'm thinking to trade for whales. I hope this was useful for you. If you like the video, please give it a thumb up. Subscribe to the video so you get a notification when I publish a next video. And I will see you in the next video.